Getting PCS orders is stressful enough. Then someone asks a question that can keep you up at night. What are we supposed to do with the house? Do you sell it before you leave Wichita Falls? Do you keep it as a rental? Or do you hold and wait? And what if you make the wrong decision right before moving your family across the country? Hi, I'm Tim Lockhart. I'm a retired Air Force officer, a realtor with Keller Williams here in Wichita Falls, and I specialize in PCS home selling strategy around Sheppard Air Force Base. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how military homeowners should think through the sell versus hold decision before a PCS move. One thing I've learned both from military life and real estate is this: PCS moves compress decision making. You don't always get the luxury of time. You're balancing orders, household goods, school decisions, travel, out processing, new report dates, and somewhere in the middle of all that, there's a house and your finances. And the hard part is this: most people immediately jump into tactics before they build a strategy. They ask, should I list now? Should I rent it? Should I wait until summer? But those aren't actually the first questions you should ask. The first question is, what role does this house play in your overall financial strategy? I want to make something very clear up front. There is no universal answer that applies to every military homeowner near Sheppard Air Force Base. I've seen situations where selling was absolutely the smartest move financially and strategically. I've also seen situations where holding the property as a rental made more sense. The decision depends on things like your equity position, your timeline, your next assignment, your cash reserves, your risk tolerance, your interest rate, your long-term plans, and whether you actually want to be a landlord. AI tools, YouTube videos, and online calculators can help you gather information. But real-world strategy still matters, because what works for someone PCSing from Florida to California may not apply to Wichita Falls, Burkburnett, or Iowa Park. One of the biggest reasons military homeowners decide to sell is simple. They don't want to manage a property from another state while adjusting to a new assignment. And honestly, that's a valid reason. Long-distance landlording sounds easy on paper until the air conditioner fails in July, the tenant stops communicating, repairs start stacking up, or you're handling property issues while working 12-hour shifts at your next duty station. Another reason selling may make sense is protecting equity. If you've built solid equity during your time here in Wichita Falls, sometimes locking in that gain before relocating can reduce financial stress, especially if you need the proceeds for your next move, you want to reduce debt, or you simply want a clean transition instead of carrying two house payments. Market timing also matters. There are periods where homes near Sheppard Air Force Base move quickly when they're priced correctly and prepared properly. And there are periods where buyers become more cautious and homes sit longer. Understanding the current local conditions matters more than national headlines. A lot of military homeowners watch national real estate news and assume it applies directly to Wichita Falls. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. That's why I spend a lot of time helping military homeowners build a PCS exit strategy before they ever decide whether to list. Sometimes the smartest move is selling, and sometimes it's holding. The key is understanding the numbers and the operational realities before making the decision. Now let's talk about the other side. There are situations where keeping the property may actually make sense. One example is homeowners sitting on very low interest rates. If you bought during a low rate period, giving up that mortgage may not be something that you want to do quickly. Another reason some military families hold property is long-term wealth building. Over time, a properly managed rental can help build equity, create cash flow, and provide additional financial flexibility later. But here's the important part that few people talk about enough. A house only becomes a good rental if the numbers and management realities actually work. I've also seen military homeowners accidentally become landlords because they couldn't emotionally let go of the house. That's different from making a strategic hold decision. Keeping a property because you have a clear financial plan is one thing. Keeping it because you hope the market magically improves later is something else entirely. If you're considering holding the property, ask yourself, do we have the reserves for repairs? Are we okay with vacancy periods? Are we comfortable managing tenants remotely? Will we hire a property management company? Does the projected rent actually support the risk? These are real questions, not emotional questions, strategic questions. Now I'd like to talk about some common mistakes. Mistake number one is waiting too long. One of the biggest mistakes I see around Sheppard Air Force Base is waiting too long to build the plan. Some homeowners wait until they have final orders in hand before talking to anybody. By then, the timeline can get compressed fast. Even if you don't plan to list immediately, having an early strategy conversation gives you options. Mistake number two is making decisions based only on national news. Another mistake is relying entirely on national real estate headlines. What's happening nationally doesn't always reflect what's happening in Wichita Falls. Local inventory, military turnover, buyer demand, pricing ranges, and timing around PCS cycles all matter. Mistake number three is over-improving the home. I also see military homeowners spend too much money on updates that don't meaningfully improve resale value. Before spending thousands on renovations, it's important to understand what buyers in your price range actually care about. Sometimes simple preparation, repairs, cleanliness, and presentation matter more than expensive upgrades. Mistake number four, emotional pricing. Another common issue is emotional pricing. You remember what you paid, you remember the work that you put into the house, and you remember the family milestones there. But buyers don't price homes emotionally. They compare options. And strategic pricing becomes extremely important during a PCS timeline because time matters. When I work with military homeowners near Sheppard Air Force Base, the first conversation usually isn't about listing paperwork. It's about strategy. We look at timeline, equity, repairs, market conditions, rental potential, carrying cost, stress tolerance, and operational logistics. My background as an Air Force officer naturally shapes how I approach this process. I believe in reducing uncertainty through planning. Real estate during a PCS move shouldn't feel chaotic. It should feel structured. So if you're starting to think through a move from Wichita Falls, Burkburnett, or Iowa Park, don't feel like you have to solve everything overnight. Start with clarity. Start with a strategic conversation. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. The sell versus hold decision is not just a real estate decision. It's a military transition decision, a financial decision, a stress management decision, and sometimes a family decision. There is no perfect answer that fits every homeowner near Sheppard Air Force Base. But there is usually a smarter one once you slow the situation down and evaluate it strategically. I'm Tim Lockhart with Keller Williams Realty in Wichita Falls. I'm a retired Air Force officer, a Ramsey trusted realtor, and I specialize in helping military homeowners build PCS exit strategies around Sheppard Air Force Base. If you want help thinking through your options before making a move, I'd be happy to sit down with you for a simple 15-minute strategy call. There's no pressure, no sales pitch, just a conversation to help you understand your options and build a plan that fits your situation. Thanks for watching. And if you know another military family getting ready for PCS orders, send this video to them. It may help them avoid a costly mistake.